It is Andrew the Android Kowalski here, and I'm here with my father,
Papi.
Papi.
Welcome to Casa de Papi.
Casa de Papi. So, do you want to give an update on your health and the medications you're taking? You said it making you fatigued, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just got another hormone shot. I've been getting a monthly, and I got it last week, and yeah, it's just really I it's fatiguing me, and it's really knocking me out.
Right.
Even sleeping and stuff, and I'm getting a lot of um like hot flashes and such, just and cold flashes. So, uh, but it's doing its purpose. I mean, it's doing what it's intending to do. It's blocking all my testosterone, and they tell me that the medications eliminate the testosterone, which causes I guess, the cancer to spread quicker or to um, feed off it. So, it's, I guess, the side effects are good because it seems to be working, and that's kind of it. Um, my next doctor's appointment is going to be the surgery in regards to what the surgery in regards to putting the um, I don't know I forget what they call them, markers into my prostate, and also my seminal vesicle gland. And what the markers actually do is um, it kind of they stay there, and it shows exactly what, when it comes down to the radiation, they can pinpoint exactly where to give the radiation, and it's a helpful tool in regards to I guess the radiation, and it limits exactly where the radiation, it pinpoints where the radiation is going.
Right. Is there any potential? I mean, obviously, a cancer. Is there any potential to get this into remission, or?
That's the plan. I mean, obviously, I mean, that's the plan with with surgery and the hormone injections and such.
Right.
That is what the plan is.
Well, I mean, like I said, you go for yearly physicals, so it's a good thing you caught it. I guess you caught it. I mean, I don't know if you caught it early or not, but you at least you know what you have to do. I mean, if that, I mean, so you know what you have to do, and you're doing it. So
Yeah, I guess in regards to what you say, yeah, I go for a yearly physical, and it popped up last year, my last physical, and oh, the reason I'm sweating is because I was working outside. Nice day here today. Um, oh, what was I going to say about, but but unfortunately, or what's the concerning thing about I guess the cancer that I do have is um, they were pretty alarmed at the fact that it's classified as being aggressive.
yeah.
And I mean, normally in the prostate, the cancer doesn't progress all that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But the major concern is it's considered an aggressive cancer, and obviously the doctors don't like that. I mean, if it was just, hey, we're picking up, that there's a scale that's called a Gleason scale, and the scale goes from 0 to 10, and 1, 2 is a cancer that's um, just forming and stuff. And well, my Gleason score was 8 and change. So, and one part was actually a 9. So yeah, it's not a quick, easy, hey, guess what? We're gonna nip it in the bud. This is a
Do you have any idea I guess with age it's a common cancer. Do you have any idea how you got it? Any idea? Not really.
no. Hey, this is your body. You have to.
Yeah, I know. I mean, obviously it runs in the family. And did you take prostate vitamins? I know there's vitamins like prostate PQ, or not really. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I never did.
I don't know if they really existed in the 70s or 80s or 90s. But I often get prostatitis, which it's kind of worrying. But actually, interestingly enough, my prostate actually hurts right now. But I've gone for checkups recently. So they say it's like back pain, in men of a certain age, prostate pain. So
But I'm not a doctor. I don't know. But in regards to, you mentioned the prostate PQ you were taking.
yeah.
I don't think that has anything to do with cancer. What that has to do is with
No, prostate PTQ is a vitamin that helps with prostate inflammation.
right. Exactly. And my prostate, and has been for a couple of years. They say it's enlarged or it's swollen, but they say that's normal with um, older people too, and
Yeah.
it causes different. Uh, different things in regards to urination and such. And anyway, uh, however, I have noticed that with me taking the hormones and stuff, I can actually tell that my prostate has shrunk a little bit, um, which is a good sign. I mean, which is the medication that I'm taking is it seems to be working or doing what it has to do.
Yeah. So obviously it's a very serious topic. And cancer and prostate cancer is a bad thing. But you want to change the topic to something a little bit more
Yeah.
lighthearted?
But one last thing on the subject.
Yeah.
And it's not on cancer, but it's on, and I say this every time during these podcasts and stuff. You know, everybody who's out there, or everybody who's watching this, it's important to go yearly for your physical. It's important to go get checked out by your doctors. With blood tests, urine tests, and the whole gambit. You may say, "Hey, I'm healthy." I showed no signs of a cancerous that type of infection. I'll call it an infection. You know, but you have to go. You have to go for your physical. You have to go get checked out. And if you catch things that are or sooner than later, you're better off in life, and it's what you have to do.
The sooner you catch anything, really, the better off you are.
Correct.
Somebody asks, "Where's my mom?" We're in Casa de Papi, which is Poppy's place in Glen Head. Somebody asks, "What did you think about me living in spa housing?" I know Mom mentioned that recently. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts? Do you think it's necessary? What are your thoughts on spa housing when it comes to me?
I think it's important, and just due to the fact that hey, I'm not going to be around. Um, I mean, 30 years or less. I mean,
Yeah.
my ticket is going to be punched. Same thing with your ma. We're at an age where we're getting old, and you can't fool yourself to believe, hey, guess what? We're going to be around forever, and you're going to be taken care of. And that's going to force you to, not even force you. I mean, that's going to cause you to be independent. So when we're not here, you can survive in life, and you're not going to be living out of a cardboard box somewhere.
Yeah, you don't want to be homeless. You don't want to be in the hospital. Somebody says you need it. You have to get into housing. It's just the outcome. Obviously, do you think I have the ability to be independent, or do you think?
Yes, I mean, you look at all little things, like driving. Um, you've learned how to do like those podcasts and things that you want to do. You do.
Right.
You can do. Um, One story in regards to that is, and it's not putting you down in any way, but it was your fear and such. You didn't like driving to. You didn't like driving your car to the train station and parking it.
Mm-hmm.
You said, "Oh, you can't do that." So, I mean, you walked a mile to get to the train station instead of driving your car there and parking it. But you started going into the city, and that's something that you wanted to do. You wanted to go into the city. You wanted to be adventurous. And when you finally said, "Hey, I want to do that," you said to yourself, hey, you know what? I got to park my car in the train parking lot.
Well, actually, interestingly enough, initially, before for like I think I first started going into the city at the Fountain House in 2017. And eventually, at first I was fighting it. I was like, oh, I hated it. Everybody there is low functioning. And but then I met some friends in 2019, 2020, and so on. And I guess it doesn't really matter what the motivation is that got me going into the city, but there were people that were motivating me to go there. And I was living life for really the first and only time in my life, which is a good thing.
But it's, you see,
And that's what I'm not doing at the moment. I'm not living life.
but you see, that was something you wanted to do.
Right.
And once you got to that point where you wanted to do it, you succeeded. I mean, it's something that, you're like, hey, I want to go into the city. I want to take the train. I want to go to the mall and stuff. And that's something that you wanted to do. And once you said to yourself you wanted to do it, you could do it. So, and that's kind of like independent living.
You got to find something that motivates you, and you got to do it. So what do you think about internet addiction, social media addiction, and what are your thoughts about me being on the internet all day, every day for like years? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, it comes to the point where that's what you, like I said, we just talked about what you wanted to do, and you feel that that's something that you want to do, and you want to speak your mind, and you want to speak your piece, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's the way you're doing it. And when people say to you, you should limit it, you get a little bit belligerent, and you kind of like just don't look at the signs. And we're going to touch on we're going to touch on a subject here that's very touchy, but what would help as well is the medication that's been prescribed to you.
Right.
You're anti the medication and stuff, which means you're anti getting better. When you say like, oh, I was on
I mean, that's a direct quote from Dr. Kaplan, the psychopharmacologist. He literally said you were on like the whole pharmacy. You were on a mega regimen for many years, and he said, his intentions were never nefarious with the mega regimen.
No,
but it was very much. Let's not get into it. But it really was you and Mom who.
but the medication that I guess the doctors and they want you to be on right now, it's not. It's just two medications, and it's very low dosage.
Right now, and currently, they say currently I'm under medicated, but
Very
in
much so.
years past, for like 10 years, I was extremely overly medicated.
But you also when you had your
Somebody says mega regimen. On the mega regimen, you had family, friends, and a girlfriend. Yeah,
and you went to the city, and you were living a life. I mean, there was no conspiracies. There was no, right. I mean, things would pop up. You would have moments where, but the medication did draw you back in. The intent now is not to put you on major medicine. And plus, when you're talking about major medicine, you were talking about other things that were happening in your life, in your body, which that you were like, you didn't. I'm not going to get involved. I mean, I'm not going to get.
Yeah, they're no going.
I'm not. But
yeah.
But every time you went to the doctors, you said, "Oh, I have this ailment too." So, something more was prescribed. Something more was prescribed, and it got to the point where every time you were going to the doctors, other things were being prescribed because you were talking about different symptoms and such. Let me finish.
Yeah, but Mom would always, email the doctors telling Dr. Kaplan how I was misbehaving, telling her how I was doing this, doing that, and he would prescribe psychiatric medications as a result of Mom kind of controlling my narrative at times. I know her intentions were not nefarious, but Mom very much is responsible for the mega regimen getting prescribed. So on that note, I know she says it was between me and my doctors, but that's not true.
Listen,
I know her. I know her intentions were not nefarious. I know her intentions
wasn't.
were to help me. I know she wasn't pharmacologically abusing me for sadistic reasons.
No, but by you continuously saying that, it's not helping yourself. I mean, you're looking for a reason not to take medication. You're looking,
right.
and the dosage of the. I'm not going to mention what medication you're on. There's no need to that, but you're on medication 1, and you're on a very low dose.
I'm on Abilify 10 milligrams.
Okay. Moment. You should be on at least 15 or 20, and that's not mega. That's not a mega amount. You need an additional amount. You need to be on 15 or 20. Number 1. Number 2, there's a second medication too that they want you to take, and that medication will help you in regards to your highs and your lows and your mood swings, which is it's paramount right now that you have to control that, and you're not able to control that, and that's not being nefarious and trying to put you in, and by you saying no, I'm putting my foot down, you're not helping yourself. I mean, you're simply just not helping yourself.
I mean, like they say, you have to want to take these medications because you want to take them, not because your mother or father wants you to take them. You have to take the medications because you realize I'm not doing well off the medications, and I'm going to take the medications to get myself healthy. Even I realize it, if it was up to me, I would probably be on no medications, but that's not wise.
And if it was up to me, I wouldn't take the cancer medication either, because
it is up to you because I mean,
but it isn't.
No.
You know what? You're right.
I mean, like when it comes to I know some people.
You're right, because if I could say I don't want to take cancer medication and I'll die in a year from now. I mean, so what?
Yeah.
What's the alternative? So yeah, you're right. It is my call.
No, it is your call to take the medication. But when it came to the mega regimen for so many years, it was like I had a metaphorical gun to my head by mom. But on that note, they say it's learned helplessness. You didn't really. I mean, you could have chosen to be homeless. You could have chosen to be in the psychiatric hospital. Like, if you wanted to live at her house, you had to listen to her rules, and one of her rules was to take the mega regimen. So,
but I know there was other medication that they wanted to prescribe for you, and if I'm not wrong, I mean, you were like, no, I don't want to take that, and so
ultimately, Dr. Copland, the doctor, prescribed the medications. He says his intentions were never nefarious.
Of course not.
Mom says her intentions were never nefarious. And your intentions obviously were never nefarious. No, but nobody was pharmacologically abusing me.
Why would you even say that?
I mean, yeah. Why would you? But was I over medicated? I think so. But currently, I'm under medicated.
But even when you went to the hospital and the doctors in that group when you were at
TB says, I blame Dr. Garrett personally. He put silly ideas in your head about being cured with no meds. He was incautious to do that. I know Dr. Garrett did believe in recovery from schizophrenia or schizoaffective disorder or delusional disorder without the use of psychiatric medications. I know, Joanne Greenberg is another advocate for recovery without the use of medications. But also, I know towards the end, Dr. Garrett was saying, you need a little bit of something. So, even he was saying, medication,
and what does that tell you?
At least a tiny dose. Which
here's a doctor who was anti-medication, and here he is saying about you. Yeah, you know what?
Somebody says Dr. Garrett said you could be cured with no medication. He didn't say you would.
Correct.
It's a fact that no other countries that don't have medication see better recovery rates. It's a fact that in other countries that don't have medication, they see better recovery rates.
Yeah. But let me just add one other thing. I mean, when you were on the medication back in the late teens or early 20s, you were laughing, you were smiling, you were enjoying life. You were able to hang with your parents.
I think
let me finish.
Yeah.
Please let me finish.
Sure.
You were able to go into the city. You were able to go into Brooklyn for your appointments. There was no. Your life was progressing. You were doing things in life. You were putting yourself out there. There was no problems. As soon as you stopped your medication, it was all over. It was all everything. Everybody was nefarious. Everybody was against you. Everybody hates you.
I think the thing.
And you have to let me finish first,
Yeah.
please. And that's what you fail to realize, or not even fail to realize. I think you do realize it, but it doesn't matter to you. And
I think the thing that the weight. I was going to say the straw that broke the camel's back, but the weight that broke the camel's back was the whole HIV scare in January 2020. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I know. I mean, what the evidence is there is I stepped on something and, you know, I was asked, was it a hypodermic needle? And I was taken to the emergency room and I was.
But you couldn't even say it was a hypodermic needle.
It wasn't a hypodermic needle. It was some debris that pushed through my. It doesn't even really matter. What matters is, you know, that whole experience traumatized me. That whole experience
Sure
made me think people might have had nefarious, premeditated intentions, which apparently they didn't. That was a delusion. That was a persecutory delusion. But I mean, let's dispel that here. You did not have nefarious, premeditated intentions, and to your knowledge, Mom, Dale, or nobody had nefarious, premeditated intentions to get me to take HIV PrEP for any reason, right?
I take umbrage that you're even asking that question. How can you even ask that question?
Right.
Seriously, how can you even ask that question?
Yeah, it wasn't revenge or for like, let's say, getting physical with Mom in 2011 or for anything for that matter.
You're the one who came home from the restaurant saying that you stepped on something, you thought it was a hypodermic.
No, I said I stepped on some debris that I was afraid could have been drug paraphernalia.
Okay, so and you were all concerned that it was drug paraphernalia, or it was a let me finish.
And then Dr. Garrett asked me via email, was it a hypodermic needle? And I said to Mom, you know, maybe I stepped on drug paraphernalia. Was it it could have been a hypodermic needle?
Well, when you say drug paraphernalia, I mean, how do people take drugs?
By hypodermic needles.
So, I mean, so that was an obvious question.
So Mom is the one who brought up the emergency room and taking HIV PrEP, which she was a nurse. She said she once had to take it herself, actually, and she wasn't traumatized.
That is correct.
And she,
as a nurse, you know, she was involved with somebody with HIV, and she was either splashed with with blood or something. I don't know what exactly, but they put her on the medication to make sure her body did not. I mean, if it was HIV related, I mean, it would have knocked it out. It's the same situation with you. I mean,
she took me to the emergency room.
Right.
We got on HIV. I mean, was it an overreaction? Was there no risk there?
But you know what? At the time, you were out of your head. I mean, and I'm not saying that in a bad connotation. You were so concerned. You were so that you knew that you stepped on something. You knew you stepped on something. You didn't know what it was. You thought it was a hypodermic needle. You said it could have been blood from HIV. People taking drugs, and you know, when the questions were asked of you, you know, where was this thing you stepped on? Did you see it? And you couldn't even answer that question. And,
I definitely stepped on something. I definitely,
and no one's doubting that.
I definitely, it was like in the kitchen area of like this lounge, and you know, it pushed through my shoe. It went into my foot, and I pulled it out. It was probably like, I don't know, probably something from the kitchen, like a nail or a screw. It was like needle like, but. You know, then I threw it away, and then we searched for it later to see if we could find it and see if we could, you know, determine what it was, but we couldn't re-find it. And you know, I was thinking maybe it could have been like a paper clip, or I don't really know what it was. I don't know what exactly I stepped on, but it pushed through my shoe, went into my foot, and you know, but you know, some people say just let it go, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? So what happened? You thought it could have been hypodermic needle. It could have been something infected by HIV. So what's the logical step to do at that point?
I think the thing that most upsets me about the whole thing is thinking I was betrayed by my parents, family, and friends, and people were bringing up the topic of, you know, HIV to, you know, to gaslight it into happening, but that's not true. Nobody had premeditated intentions to do that to me. And you know, it was my choice and basically an accident, correct?
We've discussed this at least 1,000 times,
right?
You know,
and that's what the evidence is. The evidence is it was my.
I still have no idea what the name of this restaurant was. I mean,
yeah.
I think it's in New York City. I think you said New York City, but you know what? At one time you said it was in Brooklyn. So I mean, I have no idea where this restaurant is.
Yeah.
Same thing with Ma and stuff. We don't know where this restaurant is. So how can we plot something that's so definitive, and how can it be plotted that, oh, we put it there and we knew you were going to be walking in those steps and no one else is going to be walking in those steps.
Right.
I mean, and I'm answering your question. Your logic is not there, Andrew. But you want to believe that your family, that your support system is nefarious. And you know what?
So the truth is, nobody betrayed me. If anything, I betrayed.
Why you keep asking?
So to be honest, no. If anything, I betrayed everybody by getting persecutory delusions about them. Correct? But that obviously, I believe it, and it's delusional. But what will fix that will be probably more medication, as you said, right?
Not major mega regiments.
Right.
We're not talking. I mean, no one's talking mega regiments. I'm just trying to use your words.
Mega regiment. That was Dr. Copland's word, actually.
Okay, but you use it constantly.
Yeah.
No one's saying that. Everybody's saying, you know what? You need to, with the Abilify, you need to just raise a little bit because it's just not holding you.
Right.
And in the other medication is a small dosage as well, and that's to help you with the mood swings and to keep you centered. You refuse that, which means you're refusing to help yourself. When you refuse to help yourself, it's the whole process of you trying. We're trying to get you to independent in life, and you know what?
All right, fair enough. Let's change the topic to something a little bit more lighthearted. You want to change the topic to some entertainment-related topics, or
Sure.
something a little bit more fun? Like,
Have you seen any good movies lately?
Have I seen any good movies lately? I saw Captain America: Brave New World with Red Hulk. Did you see that one?
I saw that one too.
What are your thoughts on it?
It was interesting. I mean, I like the fact that they went back to, the old school storyline and such. And
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, even though it wasn't official, it was kind of like a sequel to the 2008 The Incredible Hulk. Does Marvel or Disney do they own the distribution rights to the Incredible Hulk? I mean, are they preparing for World War Hulk, or does Universal still own the distribution rights? They have the character rights, but they don't. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I don't know about that. And
I mean,
Disney, Marvel they make it so secretive in regards to, what their deal or what the agreement is.
Right. So I know they have a villain. I think the guy's name was Stearns, or the leader. Or they have Red Hulk. Who was I think it was originally William Hurt, Thunderbolt Ross, but now it's Harrison Ford.
Because he passed away.
He passed away. Yeah.
In real life,
they waited too long to metaphorically pull the trigger on the storyline, and he passed away.
But as you mentioned, I don't think they were able to pull the trigger on it.
I mean, I guess they could have done it like.
All right, I said pull the trigger.
I guess they.
And I've always used that in regards to like work and stuff, but
like a starting gun, begin.
But there's a funny little story about what did I always just say to you? You got to start. You got to take the starting gun. You got to shoot the gun, and
yeah. And then I mentioned to Dr. Garrett, obviously about, I don't know, like living life. I got to pull the trigger, and he said, "Oh no, I don't know. Mental health recovery isn't instantaneous like the pulling of a trigger," because he thought it was like a suicide reference or something like that.
Yeah, he was concerned that what pull the trigger actually meant, or what it could have meant, and such.
Yeah, and he's like, your recovery is more like moving sand. I don't know what the hell moving sand meant. That sounds Zen and Buddhist like, but
yeah.
But I also thought mental health recovery is. I think he said erosion can occur, like the sand from the beach could erode, and you got to put the sand back. I don't know what it is, but it was bizarre.
It's Zen like.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any other topics, or do you want to wrap this up?
It's up to you.
What do you think? Think of something.
Do your friends out there, do they follow the college basketball? Because the tournament's going on right now.
Do
the
you
March
do
Madness.
you follow college basketball? My impatience. I guess not. Yeah, let's try to think of a topic that both you and I can discuss. Like a topic that we both could discuss. College basketball is kind of foreign to me. I literally know nothing about it. Anything?
Um, my main concern still is getting
Entertainment wise, like in terms of entertainment and bonding experience, something lighthearted.
bonding, like a bonding experience. It hurts when you pull away and you think that everybody's nefarious. When I say everybody, I'm talking about your support system.
Right. Somebody says, "How does Poppy feel about gun control? What are your thoughts about gun control?"
Oh, I think it's needed. I mean, I understand the we have the rights by the Constitution and such to own guns, protect ourselves, and to own firearms. But when our forefathers put that into law, I mean, you're only talking about rifles and shotguns, and at the time, I mean, there was no AK-47s, there was no rocket launchers, there was no machine guns. I mean, all of this stuff even falls on. I mean, it does fall under the privy of guns and guns control, but you know, where do you draw the line in regards to protecting oneself? Um, and yeah, I'm totally against those types of weapons. There's no need for it. And I mean, when people a- attack schools or attack buildings and they slaughter people, it's all of this automatic rifles, automatic guns, and there's got to be some type of law of it, I guess, that, or there's got to be some type of
All right. On that note, I guess this is we've gone a half hour. So you want to end this live stream?
sure.
All right. Peace out, guys. Okay.